follow your silhouette, followed so easy. Ooh. And round we went, yet to give in to me. And the answer is a mystery, spoken softly like a sacred sin. Time was empty, no reality, losing grip on what we had within. Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? I have you and you have me. Sounded so easy. Ooh. But I got lost and you found me so easily. But then the world said, please tread softly, don't leave scratches on my skin. All was simple, its complexity, always begging me to let you in. I follow your silhouette, followed so easy. And round we went, yet to give in to me. And the answer is a mystery, spoken softly like a sacred sin. Time was empty, no reality, losing grip on what we had within. Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? I follow your silhouette, followed so easy. Ooh. And round we went, yet to give in to me. And the answer is a mystery, spoken softly like a sacred sin. Time was empty, no reality, losing grip on what we had within. Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? followed so easy. And round we went, yet to give in to me. And the answer is a mystery, spoken softly like a sacred sin. Time was empty, no reality, losing grip on what we had within. Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? Can I fool you? I follow your silver.
Hello, everybody. My microphone is 10,000 miles away from my face. Hold on, professional streamer, we got this. Okay, we're good. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you. Hello. I hope you're all having a good Saturday evening or, Sunday morning. Who knows? Not me. But either way, it's good to see you all. Let's see who we got. Curse. Congrats on the first. Nice. Amy, thank you for the gift sub to Cultist. Much appreciated. And Cultist, I hope you enjoy your new Salem emotes and your ad-free watching experience. Hello. Let's see who we got. We got Curse. Hello, of course. We got Nyx. I saw the snipe go taking to snatching up that first. Amy, hello. Potato, hello. Early bed stream again. I'll be lurking. Enjoy your lurk. It's good to see you. Fish, hello. Let's see. Twitch didn't notify me of sales. Yeah. That's why that's why for the people that are in the Discord from back when it was still around, I have updates going on there now, because I know Twitch's update system sometimes it's not, I wouldn't say ideal. It's kind of similar to YouTube's subscriber notifications in that way, that I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it ideal, but it's what we got. Let's see. Star, hello, goodness Legion. Yeah, I'm just having fun with it right now. This is how I play games. Honestly, it's like I don't find a game that I like for years, or like I don't find a game that I'm really into for like years, and then I find one game and then I'm really into it. And I know League has the whole like hee funny League bad kind of thing, but like I really like it, honestly I am having a good time with it, so I just want to stream what I'm having a good time with, that's all. It's just like one of those things where I think it you know, if I'm having fun, I think that's what shows through the most, you know? I was going to do, I know I talked a little bit about possibly doing a tarot stream tonight, but my camera setup is not good right now. I haven't gone in to get like a manicure or anything in a while, and my nails are all grown out, and it's just bad. It's just bad all around. We'll maybe next week we'll see. I think next week I should have a few nights where we should have some quiet. Yeah. So it's hard to schedule ASMR streams when you live with other people. It's just you can't count on having quiet a lot of the times, unfortunately. Rowan, hello! Got a gift sub from Nyx. Well, I'm glad to see you here. I hope you enjoy your Salem emo. Hello. Ace, I saw you say you were getting sick. I hope you feel better soon. I hope it's just a little bug. Hopefully it's just a little something and you're over it fast. Let's see. Koishi, hello. Orinthio, hello. Why does Salem sound like the one old lady who gives regular-sized candy bars on Halloween? Giving regular-sized candy bars on Halloween is my favorite thing. I love giving out regular-sized candy bars. We don't get hardly any trick-or-treaters, too, so it's like, when we do get some, they're so surprised because we're in this, like, tiny little, like, back street thing, so, it's nice. I like it. Calls on the floor towards you. What are you doing on the floor, Lyra? Get up and come here. Hello, Shelly. Hello. It's the new Hyperfocus. Truly. Hope to see the ASMR streams come back soon. Yeah. Though, I mean, I do them when I can. It's just like, you know, like I said, it's sort of like, that's kind of why my schedule doesn't have anything on it, because I just kind of, I stream whatever I'm excited to stream about. Like, and there's some days, like, some days I'm just in kind of a frantic mood, like, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's just like not a mood it's like I got the zoomies. It's not a, sometimes it's not a, how would you put this? Not a conducive attitude to coming into an ASMR stream with. What do you play at CSGO? I just picked up one toxic game. You want to pick up another? What? Let's see. Don't you mean the they them Akira? I'm so sorry. Next, thank you for checking me on that. Oh my god, that's like, there's a thing that happens in one of the so for those of you who know Dimension 20 or Dropout, they have like a post session, just like conversation sort of show for all the Dimension 20 like D&D episodes, where they just talk about what happened, and it gets really off the rails sometimes. And there was one time where one of the cast members was trying to tell like the whole what is it, like a riddle of like, so a man and his son get in a car accident, they have to go to the hospital, and what's the, you know, and the doctor says I can't operate on the whatever, I can't even remember what the whole riddle is, but like the riddle in the end, like the punchline is supposed to be that the doctor is the mom, I think. But one of the other members of the cast interrupts and goes, sorry, do you mean a herspital? And then it just like totally spirals out of control. And they're like, yeah, they went to the she herspital. It's truly one of those things that can't be, it's so much. Hold on, there has to be a YouTube video of this. I gotta link it in chat. It's one of my favorite clips from Dimension 20. The she hospital. And then there's another one where they end up on this tangent where they start making so many puns about paladins, and it gets to be the point of like they're talking about a level 20 scissor paladin, and then it's a level 20 scissor galadin. And then it's a level 20 scissor gala them. It's just, it's very funny. I'm not conveying the funniness, but I promise it's there. Oh, yeah, because it starts with him being like, history? I think you mean herstory? It's very funny. Hold on. There's the link. It is much better than me just trying to explain it. You know, when you gotta explain the joke, it's not as funny. There we go. I literally do not. CS2 is mad fucked anyways. It's okay. I don't have any plans for getting into CSGO. Lacogular, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Hello. Good to have you with us, and welcome to the coven. Mwah. Why are you awake at midnight? Because it's not midnight for me. It's 9 p.m. Plus, I'm awake at midnight all the time anyway. I'm a little night creature. I'm a little goblin scampering around these trash cans. Can I sell a chair and you sell on me with the opposite direction when you game and custom? I'm not a toxic gamer. No toxic gaming in this household. Comfy gaming. Toxic game, comfy gamer. That's the vibes we're trying to have. It's good to see you back and at it. Oh, well, thank you so much for sticking around for so long, Gogular. I appreciate it. Has them goblin hands? I do. I got those little mischievous raccoon hands. Alright, I think we're gonna go ahead and switch over. Let's see. Yeah, let's head over. So I'll see you there. Alright, so once again, too much. There's too much going on here. We're too close. And I do have my party open. Sen, I think Next joined. Let me see. So possibly playing some with Nex or anybody else who chooses to hop in tonight. Let's see. So we'll put me. Where are we going? Right about here. This should be. It's a little too small. It's a little too baby. There we go. That should be roughly. I'm still maybe here. Here we go. That should show the map. Still, we'll see. Too close. I think that's the perfect length. It's too close. It's too close. It's good for main screen. For gaming, too close. Which means that we're adjusting. Okay, we got our background music going. We got the tunes. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Let's see. Whisper sweet words in my ear. Fuck Blitzcrank. No! I'm tempted, but I haven't played League of Legends in forever, and I'm really bad at it. It's honestly, there's a lot going on. It's a learning curve. But hey, just play for 15 hours straight when you first get into it, and hey, you get over that curve pretty fast, I guess. I mean, I'm still not good, but I think I am understanding a little more, Started asking Salem. I was close to finishing Hades. Oh, well, I hope you're enjoying it. Hey, should I eat some sweet potato cake? Cream cheese frosting? I've never heard of sweet potato cake. Yeah, try it. Let me know how it is. If it's good, then you could share it if you want. All right. Okay, so I think we are. Is there a way to add, how do you add a status to your. Oh, I just want to make sure anybody that knows if they come in that. Can you. How do I see that Tycho has farming arc. I'm like, how do I add a status? How do I add a status? I'm trying to. I just want to make sure that nobody. That people know that I'm streaming in case they decide to hop in. Click in green status. League streamer arc. Which is actually, I just realized I accidentally sort of stole Tycho's status, but hey, yeah, I guess it works. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal your status, Tycho. Always the comfy vibes. I need to deal with bad people at work. Big appreciate. Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. Even if we're even if we're gaming and stuff, you know, I try to keep it comfy. Streamer just yelled at me. No, I didn't yell. No. No yell. No yell. Speedrun learning League so I can pop in someday. Very soft and fluffy. Clicking green. Oh, yeah. Potato, thank you very much for the help. Well, we drink it tight. We got some tea. I got my mint chocolate tea, which feels tea and League is a combination for sure. It's one of the combinations of all time. It's so cute. Oh, thank you, Leah. You're so cute. Love you too. Better than watching stream being toxic. I have one autistic game thing that's gone. I'm pretty sure if it became moments, I die instantly. Set Aphelios Truther next. All right, let's go. Yeah, I have to say, I think the way I tend to play games is very autistic adjacent. I still don't like saying stuff like that too much because I still don't have a diagnosis, and I just would prefer to actually have that before making jokes and stuff. But I will say the way I play games, I don't think it's any secret. It's when the hyper focus hits, baby. Show the clip for you cute in Fortnite. Yeah. Me and Leo were playing Fortnite a while back, and I simply I'm a little bloodthirsty in every game that I play. I like it. It's fun. It's the adrenaline rush. Buster check next. Thank you very much. Pre-game uncrunch. Pre-game stretch. Yeah. Thank you. I saw SalemAudio Fortnite stream and squad up. Yeah, I played one. I played a little bit. Still not much. I don't really know what I'm doing in Fortnite either yet, but we'll get there over there one day. For some reason, okay, I was trying to fix some stream stuff, but we gotta go! Okay. Toxic gamer time. Going and invading the enemy's jungle as usual. It's the strat. There are two things you do: run from the storm, shoot non-friendly guy with a gun. Yeah. That's what I've gotten thus far.
Minions have spawned.
All right. We got this.
I'm dedicating this piece to you.
Huh. Never noticed how tongues just kind of flop around behind your teeth.
Wait, we dancing? We jamming? I'll jam with you. I'll jam with you next. This is you right next. There we go. Is this vocal in the background? I don't know actually. Yes, it is. I had to those people doing fireworks. Yeah, I had a very low volume because for me, I can't hear and play at the same time. That's asking a lot. I have it just high enough to where I can hear that it's on.
Nature's more out of control.
Alrighty. It was so funny because Tycho messaged me earlier and said something about like, looking at your badges, and said something about like having a toxic play style. I was like, I'm so sorry. It's I just it really feels like with Briar for me, you really just kind of gotta get as early a head start. Why is League transparent on my screen? Hold on. No, this needs to be fixed right now. What are you doing? Why is this like this? Game capture.
First blood.
Why was it like transparent for a minute? That was weird. Why is there a chat? I don't know. Oh, I think actually maybe I do know, but that's not something I can fix right now. Well, give me, give me a. I always forget about these little guys. Goofy ass rat got first blood. Beware of the waters. Yeah, because apparently there be witches in there. I don't know what made that happen. I think I have an idea, but on my cooldowns.
I might be a wreck now.
My cooldowns. Thank you for trying to come and save me next.
Happened because
I appreciate it.
or not enough.
Hold on, I'll go back and buy. We gotta get some. I'm gonna. There's somebody. We got some funky little people over here.
You don't have to fight.
Enemy has been slain.
What are you doing? Stop! You're so. Why are you like this?
Aw, my hair's fading already, and I'm fresh out of blood.
The worst. Just the worst. I'm so sorry. I couldn't say. I think that was you next. I think that was you that got taken out. I'm so sorry. I tried. Did they steal the buff from my camp too? They got the. Oh, unfortunate. Let's see. Sometimes the witch stares back. Apparently I stare back a little too long because they caught me. They found me and they took me out.
No. Yes.
Which is not ideal because Briar really needs those early levels, but It is what it is. I understand. I'm a little little evil jungle invader. So yeah, but this is when so when Tycho was looking at my badges that I've got earlier. Did they Oh, you're the worst. Just the worst kinds of people. There we go. You're just the worst kinds of people doing exactly what I did. I was just... doing exactly what I was doing. I guess I can't fault you for it. No, only I can use that strat. There we go. Go team. Why am I in the water? Hold on. Hold on.
An ally has been slain.
Am I no longer a water witch?
So much easier.
I am no longer a water witch. Okay, so something in my OBS is very funky because it's affecting things it shouldn't be affecting. But that's all right. We can roll with that. Mostly because we don't have another choice. I can feel the unbridled death slam. No death slam. It's just funny. It's just like, it's just funny because that is truly like, I know it's probably not good to do like the same thing every match, but that's just how I always start the matches, is just in the enemy jungler camp. So when they come into mine, it's very, why are you here? Oh, I'm in the bad place. Yeah, something about my brain. I don't know why I just didn't think that their turret was where it literally always is. It's all right. Hey, you know,
Really clears up.
sometimes it happens. when you do the strat, hee hee hoo hoo, 1000 IQ plays here when they do it evil. That's truly the feeling. Like, what do you mean they're doing exactly to me what I did to them? That's illegal. It's okay. We're catching up. Once Briar starts getting to like level 7, level 8, then she starts doing a little better.
My teeth are blurry.
I wonder if because I remember somebody mentioned last night that starting with the crit chance item that I like to start with usually isn't as good as starting with like an attack strength item. So I might try yeah, let's get that Rift Herald. I'm coming. I'm on my way. But yeah, so I might try for next time. You evil. Oh, that's not who I wanted to. Yeah, get him. We got him, boys.
An enemy has been slain.
Any funky little guys hiding in here? What are you? Get out of here. Get out of here. I keep waking up to say I'm playing League. Good start to the day.
Talk about
Well, it's good to see you, Hollow.
language an option.
Yeah, we're hey, that's just the kind of time we're having. The hyper focus is hitting. Okay, R unlocked. Legalized. Let's see. So I get that way from Splatoon. I know the feel. Wait, does League actually get? Honestly, I think so. I think it's a fun game. Like, obviously, I think you sort of have to separate yourself from the community, I guess, what's going on over here? But yeah, I think it's just, it's just one of those things where it's a matter of just, you got to do your own thing and not pay attention to, whatever community. And I'm not even saying like that I know for sure. I just know the reputation that League has. Like, I actually really haven't experienced it myself. Like, so far, I haven't had anybody doing anything that I felt was, really like toxic or harassing or anything like that. Like I get people every once in a while that like to like spam pings and stuff like that, but nothing crazy.
Enemy killing spree. An ally has been slain.
There we go. Where's the Rift Herald? Where are you? Down here? Whoa. Oh, I missed. I fired and I missed. And then I fired again and I missed. Ah!
I can just be.
I keep trying to go around back of that turret, which you cannot do. Ah! I tried. Let's see. Oh, Amy, thank you for the gift sub to Hollow. Much appreciated. Hey, Hollow, I hope you enjoy your Salem emotes. Esther, hello. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Welcome to the Coven. It's good to have you here with us. Okay, so we got our quick blades. I know that's like one of the most expensive items in this whole list, so it's like maybe I shouldn't build for that first, but it also feels like it's the most impactful. Oh, the other team got the Drake, dang. Crit tends to be better mid to late game. Yeah, that's kind of what I was told. So I might try that another game, and see how it goes. Cause I just, what's
I don't lose control. I free myself from control.
okay, we got big boy. I fired and I missed. This went on for several hours, yeah.
Life the hunger of death?
We got any froggy boys over here? Oh my gosh, there was one time where I accidentally like leveled up well, I've done this a couple times. I've had a couple matches where I accidentally leveled up Briar's Q instead of her W ability right away, and I was like, what is this? Like, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh no. It wasn't terrible, but definitely until I recovered, I was a little behind for a couple minutes in the match. I've been wanting to try Briar. How she play? Her early game is a bit weak. So like if I generally try not to get into confrontations during like her early levels, but she really picks up around like level 7 or 8, I would say. I saw some people like seem to like playing her as a bruiser. But really prefer like like she feels much more like geared towards like assassin builds. I have a very aggressive playstyle though, so that might just be me. All right, Bug. Hello, hello. Oh, we got the ASMR gathering here, don't we? We got Bug, we got Hollow VA, the Lover Bug. All right, I have 2 health, so I'm gonna let you go. There we go. Try and wait and see if I can get this dragon. Maybe we go try and get this Rift Herald. Let's see. Yeah. I'm on my way. Oh, maybe I'm not on my way. That was maybe a bad choice. That was perhaps an incorrect choice. I also flubbed my buttons, so. Shut down. No! I'm so sorry, Dex. I kind of dragged you into that one. Thanks for swinging by my stream for a hot second. We were having technical difficulties. Oh, no worries, Bug. It was good to get to stop by, though. I hope you had a fun stream afterwards.
An ally has been slain.
There we go. Okay, so what do we... we'll come down here and defend this until... The problem is I still don't know, like, a lot of characters' roles, so I don't know, like, if somebody dies, I'm like, I don't know what they were protecting. Because I try and jump in, absolutely not. Get out of here. Get out of here. Enemy team has defeated the Rift Herald. That was my Herald. It wasn't my Herald, but I wanted it to be. Build your boots. Get me out of here. I use a build that doesn't have boots, which maybe is bad, but
Everyone's got a pillory of their own. Mine's just on the outside.
Lime, hello, peeking in here. Hello. There we go. Maybe we could. Well, I'm gonna let you deal with that. I'm gonna go capture the Drake. No boots. How are you gonna get the house down out? I don't know. That's a good question. It's a good question. Okay, once again, gonna let you handle that. I'm gonna go after the Drake. What's with the? Why are we shooting fireworks? This is not a firework holiday. Alright, we got the squad. I can't see the health. No! I made a mistake! Oh wait, no, Nex got it. Okay, good. Thank you, Nex, for absolutely covering my horrific mistake. I have to remember, I do this all the time. I have to remember not to hit W if I see enemies coming around the Drake. I always do that, and it's bad. That was a firework. I thought something fell over. No, we got neighbors doing fireworks. But yeah, Bug, I'm hoping next time I can stop by and say hello. I'll try and keep an eye out for the next stream. Still on the League fixation? Yeah. Oh, I think I started talking about Tycho looking at my achievements. I don't think I finished that thought. Yeah, Tycho was looking at my achievements and was like, wow, you picked up a rancid playstyle real fast, basically. because like I like to go in the enemy like jungler camps. And you know, it's hey, if it works, it works. I like to start over there because it kind of helps me, because I feel like I've noticed that Briar, because of that like early game lag, I kind of have to like choke the enemy's levels a little bit. How did Tycho describe it? Hold on, let me just set this on auto attack for a second. Tycho had said, looking at your badges right now, you are a problem child. I see you've taken a shining to the I just won't let the enemy jungler play the game strat. And that's kind of the play, I think, unfortunately. Next one will probably be at the next milestone, since I gotta get a better computer. Ah, gotcha. Well, I hope it comes quick for you, and I hope you're able to get any upgrades you're needing. Still surprised to not see Salem playing set. Yeah, I started as a set player. I thought I was gonna be a set main, but then this little goblin showed up, and I'd seen Briar around, but I hadn't. But once I actually started playing her, I was like, oh, this is. Ah, dang. This Yi has got my number. They've taken me out a few times, I think. Salem walking into the enemy territory. I'm here to cause problems on purpose. Yeah. Hey, we got Renzoto Jams. Posture check. Amy, thank you very much. And a stretch, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's just like, I really like having, like, I know maybe some people aren't like the biggest fan of this game or not interested in watching streams of it and stuff. That's okay. But for me, it's just like it's just really nice having games I can play with people now, and I want to get to a level where I can. Because a lot of my friends have played a lot. And I'm like, I know they're not worried about like me being as good as them or helping them out or whatever, you know. They understand I'm new to it. But like, I just want to be in a place where I can play well and just like try and keep up at the very least, you know? There we go.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Nice, go team. I always feel I feel kind of useless sometimes when I see like all this stuff about like the enemy like turret has been taken and all that, and I'm just like out here skipping around in my jungle. I just be having a good time skipping around causing problems. Yeah, it's just like, especially because I don't have any other games that are online games that I really know well that I can play with people. Like, I've played Fortnite and I enjoy it. But like, I don't. There's something about like the style of combat and like the sort of like push and pull of they're all here. Are you winning league, Salem? I'm trying. I think right now, what are my kills? 0 kills, 7 deaths. So I would say maybe not right now. But it's good to see you, Jelly. How you doing? The better Salem gets, the more I dread the league team and they will become. Oh, Nick, thank you for the gift sub to Jelly. Jelly, I hope you enjoy your Salem emotes. Thank you. Oh. Sorry. Thank you. Did they get the other Drake? Oh, I think they did get the other Drake. How does playing League on the funny mouse work? I have a regular mouse that I use for like if I'm playing FPS and stuff, and so I've got it out for League now. I am no longer playing League on a trackball. Do. Okay, I think I farm just a little bit more, and then we start. I kind of start focusing on helping teammates out. You were playing League with the trackball. Were you playing League on a Hey guys, I'm feeling a little attacked. I like a good trackball. You know, it's a classic. Honestly, I feel like League on a trackball is not so bad. FPS on a trackball, that's hard. That's bad. That's a bad move. the what do they call it? The flicks and everything in FPS. Trackballs, they not made for that. They don't do that.
If I can taste through my nose, why can't I eat?
Ah! Get me out of here. Get me out of here. All right. Okay, W and Q are both max, so I think now I focus more on helping people out than farming. How are our turrets doing? That's one down. Ooh, both of these are down. That's not ideal. Okay, but this is good. We're taking mid, that's all. League on a trackball is as bad as the touchpad. Okay.
I might be a weapon, but now I wield myself.
It's but like I said, it's the trackball's not so bad. It's funny though because like I do play most of my games on keyboard and mouse, and so it's like it's very strange to me. Like no, I play most of them on controller. So anytime that I play like on keyboard and mouse, it just immediately feels so much more difficult. I don't know why. It feels much more like a sweaty gamer to play keyboard and mouse than it does to play on a controller to me for some reason. Zetter, hello. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. Hi. I hope you had a good stream. Hope you had a fun time. What were you playing? Let's see. Hello. All right. Playlist really is a bang. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We got pillow raid. Have you fluffed your pillows? Like, oh, not yet. I gotta do that. I gotta get comfy. Thank you for the raid, Zetter. It's wonderful to see you. I hope you're resting up and hydrating and everything after your stream. And for those of you who are new here, hello, it's nice to meet you. My name is Salem. I am a ASM artist over on YouTube. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I am an ASM artist over on YouTube. I do some ASMR streams here. I do tarot card streams. We do some fun stuff over here. It's nice to meet you all. That was, I think, the most unhinged introduction I think I've given for myself. My brain, oh God, get me out of here. Ah, no, this is the bad place. This is... Okay, we got one of them. I'll take that, sure. Played Lethal Company and FNAF. I've heard a lot about Lethal Company. I've heard the name around a lot lately. I have no idea what it is. It's like another... It's something to do with like, it's like haunted but in space or something like that, isn't it? How are you? How goes the league? I think we're making improvements. We're getting better. It's so good. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it and enjoying it. So I hope you had fun with it. For scavenger type thing. Gotcha. It's been a hot minute. Do you have a shout out command, Salem? I don't really use it. I don't know if it's broken or not. A lot of stuff has changed, so at the moment, don't worry about it. I will fix that though, because I do want to be able to shout out people who raid properly. Where did that ye go? Oh, that was a bad R. That was a terrible R. It's like, if that hits, that's gonna be... Oh, I think they killed him first anyway. Oh, we're taking Baron. Okay. All right. I'm here for it. Use your mic for the monsters, so you have to be careful all the time. Ah, that's always so scary when games do that. Here, you guys, if you guys want, here, how about this? I'll work on Baron. You guys, keep me alive, I guess. If somebody's over there trying to hunt us down. Okay, so if we see an enemy, what do we not do? We don't press W. All right. Ah, no! No Baron buff. Don't take my Baron buff, please. Ah! No! It's okay. It's okay, I guess. As long as the rest of the team gets out of there. Ooh, 3 dead. Oh, that Baron buff going away right away hurts. I'm usually really good with jump scares, but FNAF 4 has been getting me so much. I'm terrible with jump scares. I don't touch the FNAF. I don't touch the FNAF series. I'm not a horror person. But I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I hope you've been enjoying the jump scares. I feel like with so many of the songs that I listen to, it feels like I feel like I have an approximate knowledge of many things. What's that line from Adventure Time? I remember some of the lyrics for some songs, sometimes. The way you have to rely listening on the door instead of just checking lights is so stressful. Oh, sounds scary. Need to see you play FNAF now. I think the only way I would ever play a horror game on stream is like if I did like a subathon or something like that, and yeah, I think that's that's just made that a very high, lofty goal. That is the only reason that I would. What are these? What are these? Hello? Why are there 700 of you here? Ah! Why is the whole squad there? How's the Salem League arc thus far? It's going pretty good. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a fun time. Having a good time. I should have just ran back and tried to rush in and get a smite off real fast and do a little toxic kill stealing. The way I didn't hear horror. Ah! No! It's my... I'm too... it's because where I'm from, we kind of just slur our words a little bit more, I think, so... This kind of becomes one syllable, and that's a bad word to have become one syllable. I like it because a lot of games never get me. I was able to clear Don't Scream first try. That is. I'm on a very different page than you, Zetter, but I am glad you're having fun. That's what counts. I was interested in the game until I heard the jump scares are loud. Yeah, I can't. That's a big thing for me. Is like I'm very sensitive to loud sounds. I'm very sensitive to sound in general, but loud sound in particular really not good for me. ASMR, I got hired at Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. What's happening up here? What's happening up here?
I don't lose control. I free myself from control.
There we go. Honestly, like the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, there is no way that's not already a thing.
Shut down. An enemy has been slain.
So sensitive with sound too. I have to low. Yeah. Like my I was supposed to be going somewhere with a family member the other day, and they were like, and I just told them I was gonna drive my car, and they were like, "Oh, you can just come with me." And I was like, "No, I'm sorry. You listen to music too loud. I can't." I was like, "I don't mean this in a bad way. It's not for me." Okay, we're getting in here one way or another.
Everyone's got a pillory of their own.
There we go. Okay. Ah! Bad place. Ooh! That was the best use I've ever made of those things. That was truly, like, ah! I just saw the danger pings. My biggest gripe with FNAF 4 is the breathing sounds are so quiet and not easy to catch, but the jump scares are 100%. Oh, gross. Also, Steen and Wolf, thank you so much for the follows. It's good to have you guys here with us. I hope you're cozy. I hope you're comfy. And welcome to the Coven. Thank you, thank you. Have to get some post-stream noms now. Oh, I hope you get some delicious snacks. Thank you so much for the raid again, Zetter. Also, I don't know if you're still here, Hollow, but like Briar, like with the whole like kind of weaker early game I mentioned. Ooh, they've already gotten. I didn't realize they had gotten that. But so essentially, like, Briar, you kind of want the game to go on as long as you can, to be honest, because she really took, like, if you build her, like, with crit, like, she just turns into a monster. Like, the longer she's alive, are we taking a Drake? Okay. Yeah, so it's like long games, generally for her, are, better. She's not really, like, somebody who comes in and like plows through immediately or anything. You ever get tested to see if you have tinnitus? I did actually have. I did have that when I was younger. Okay, why am I over here? There's so many of you again. Why are you all here? There we go. I didn't even see her there at first. Okay. For a second I thought I thought the other team got the Drake.
An enemy has been slain.
Honestly, I kind of stopped watching my screen for a second, so I didn't see what killed me. But good job, team. Infernal Drake is pretty heavily fought over. Oh, what's the attack damage and ability power? Okay, I could see why. The more important part of that Drake was it being our soul. Oh, gotcha. Stretch imposter check silver. Thank you very much. Oy. Ah, dang. They got us. It's okay. We're warm up game. Man, this queue is long, huh? We've been in queue for like 40 minutes. What if we just can't get in a game? But yeah, when I was younger, I did have some issues with tinnitus. Or long queue, yeah. It's all right. I did not play that one very well, if I'm being honest. And that's sort of like the nice thing that the thing that feels nice the more I play is like getting comfortable with knowing like what I should or shouldn't be doing, like, or even if I have a bad game, it's not like I have no idea that it was a bad game or anything. You know, I could sort of tell when I did things right and when I did things wrong, which is helpful. At least I feel like I can. Whether that's actually true or not, your guess is good as mine. How do you say tinnitus? I say tinnitus. I don't know if that's correct, but that's how I say it. Tinnitus? Oh, yeah, maybe it might be that. I'm not saying that I know. Peanut, evening. Hello. Yeah, we're on that grind, rise and grind, baby. Since you're still using your hat and cat ears, you still use your chibi. I haven't pulled chibi model out in a while. It's been a minute, I'll admit, since chibi has come out. Yeah, I've mostly been in cat ear mode lately, just because it's been, I don't know, it's just been comfy. Just wanted to hear you say it again because it was cute. Oh, I'm glad you think so. Gonna be top laner this game? All right. Usually it's pronounced tinnitus. Gotcha. Yeah, it's one of those things where like I probably will I'll probably try and say tinnitus if that's the proper pronunciation, but it's like one of those like force of habit things, you know. It's just like I've been saying it like this for too long. It's I think we talked about this on stream just the other day too, where it's like, you know, you've been like for kids who read a lot and then you grow up and suddenly you realize you don't know how to say any words correctly. You know a whole bunch of words, you just don't know how they're supposed to come out of your mouth hole. It's pronounced Tennessee. Lillian! No, it's not pronounced Tennessee. Lillian. Oh. I now permanently associate Tycho with Ivern. We played ARAMs for a while, for a couple days, and Tycho managed to get Ivern like probably like 4 or 5 times. It was kind of wild because we were playing with some other friends that would like trade with him and stuff. If they ended up getting Ivern, it's very funny. I got the first time I got Set in, because Set is really the only other champion that I know their kit like at all with any familiarity.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Where the heck am? What am I doing?
I don't lose control. I free myself.
Oh, I'm not on there. Why did that was a weird brain glitch. I thought I was like on their side of the jungle already, and I was not at all. Oh,
Now that I think about it,
Minions have
they saw me come over here. It's okay.
fires whose
We hide in the bush. They won't find me. They'll never find me here. Don't be with names. You know redacted audios, but he has a character name well now you're gonna get to hear what my pronounce ah.
old habit.
Well, I guess this is where we live now. I can't cancel that attack, so oh, I've put us in the bad place next. I'm so sorry. Well, hopefully the other team, you know, sometimes that strat works out, sometimes it doesn't. That time didn't work out. I probably should have. Honestly, I probably should have gone back as soon as I saw they had vision. I think that's that was the play. But yeah, now we get to see what my pronunciation is like for this name. So I don't know if you know redacted audios, but he has a character named Avior. But I pronounced it in a French way instead of a pilot way for 2 years. I admit I am not familiar with the. I know redacted audios for sure. I really. Yeah, there's so much about redacted that I like really respect. Like, his like vocal range and stuff is just like for the amount of voices that he can do for characters and stuff. Just like, how do you put this? Like, it's always, you can always tell it's his voice, but the characters are still very distinct, I think is the best way I could put it. Like, when he steps into a voice, like you know when it's when it's a character, and you know what character it is pretty easily, in my opinion. Which is I think a really cool thing to do, because I think it can be very hard to both have character voices and like a distinct voice that kind of ties everything in your channel together. This is supposed to be Avier. But I pronounced it as Avoir. I'm probably botching these pronunciations if we're being real. But yeah, no, I get it. Oh my gosh, that's like back before the that one, the one series of wizard books that must not be named was put on the chopping block. I just remember like literally every single person in my elementary school, like I don't think any one person pronounced Hermione right before that movie came out. The people were getting crazy with those Hermione pronunciations. We got Hermione. I think that was the big one I remember, was Hermione. To be fair, it is. I don't know. It might be like a common name, like in other countries or something. Like I don't know. I've never heard it before. But to be fair, it's not. It doesn't seem to be a common name. A sign of a reader is knowing too many words and not being able to say any of them. Yeah. There was so many times we had like things in my like English class. We had like word lists and everything. We were doing, you know, vocabulary lists and spelling lists and everything, and I just remember so many times being like, that's how that's supposed to be pronounced? That's how you were supposed to say that? I don't have the brain space to like remember who is on my team and who isn't, so anytime I see anybody like running in from up here, I'm always like, please be one of my teammates. Ah! 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 You guys got this? Oh no, we don't got this. Oh, I need to buy real quick. I should have done that while I was respawning. I did not. I'm a fool. Okay, so we start with attack damage this time. Dang, I wish I had my R to run in here real quick. No, they slew the Cloud Drake. Dang. J-Rock time. Ooh, what kind of J-Rock we listen to tonight next? Yeah, I mean, like, technically I can with Briar. I think both the Rift Herald and the Drakes, I can solo okay at like level 4, but if the enemy team comes in, Briar is still too squishy. I really should focus on just like trying to like power level for the first like 6 or 7 levels before I really try to start doing anything, because I really feel like, you know, even if we lose like the Drake buffs, I feel like I'm more effective at helping the team the faster I level, more so than with getting the Drakes. I don't know, it feels like a bigger impact to me in like the early levels. But you know, you always want that juicy, you want to go for that juicy sweep on the Drakes. Get all 4 of them. From what I know, Hermione is from Shakespeare, at least famous from. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I am uncultured. I don't have any much experience with you know, I know like the basic stuff that I think pretty much everybody knows about Shakespeare, but I don't. Do I try and go after this man? I kind of wanna. I shouldn't have. It was a bad decision. I keep saying, don't go after people while you're still leveling, and then I continue to do it anyway, and it's a bad idea. 6 or 7 levels is a lot of power level. Yeah, but I just feel like with Briar, it's like I constantly, before like level 6 or 7, like I'm just, can I buy anything right now? I can. Before like level 6 or 7, I can't be as helpful. Like I feel like I'm too squishy. I end up dying too fast because I'm too squishy and I can't do enough damage. Like once I start getting to like 6 or 7, that's when I can stop focusing on leveling so much. That's how it feels to me anyway. But I think once I have my R, we'll try and go for Baron here. Not Baron, but the Herald, rather. Squishy giving Wizard Core. Yeah, kinda, to be honest. Oh, we taking it now? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna save my F for later in case anybody tries to Sneak in, get a little kill steal. No, stop doing this. Okay. Stop doing. Why are you like this? That W gets me in trouble. Because again, for anybody who's not super familiar with either Briar or League in general, basically this character has like an ability where it increases your attack speed and your move speed and stuff and your damage by a lot, but you enter what they call like a blood frenzy, so you end up running towards like whatever enemy is closest. You can't control it, you can't stop it, you can't run away, nothing. She is basically on auto for like 5 seconds, and it's really strong, but the problem is you can get yourself into a lot of trouble very fast. Ugh, I don't even have my level 6 yet either. Not great. Did you know your E stops your W? Yeah. Yeah, I knew my E stops it, but it's when I go in for monsters, and maybe I should change how I do this combo, but with monsters here, I'll use my E first, and then I go in with W once they get out of the stun, and to do a little more damage, I use the Q. So I just kind of go in like reverse order of the keys. But the problem, so I sort of end up with the issue where whenever I use my W and I get captured and I lock on to like an enemy team member who I didn't know was there, I've already used my E is still on cooldown, so got to be careful with that sort of ability. Yeah, I've really learned that from a lot of personal experience, and I'm still learning apparently. What are you doing here? Get out! Get me out of here! Get me out of here! Thank you for helping me with that misfortune. I appreciate that. I died, but we at least took that Ivan. I don't. Character with that is his ult and Dota, but also makes him unkillable for the duration. Oh, man, I wish Briar's R did that. That would be incredibly overpowered, I think, but it's just like all of Briar's abilities seem to be really good for getting yourself into very bad situations very quickly. You have to be very smart and very aware. Honestly, like, I get why people say that she's a difficult champion, because I don't think it's necessarily hard to understand how her abilities work. But I do think that it's hard to use them without getting yourself killed. Exactly like this. Exactly like that. Exactly like that. Exactly like this. This is exactly what I mean. Easy to understand conceptually, hard to play effectively. Yeah, that's really it. Oh wait, no, what am I doing? Yeah, because once I kind of got the hang of her abilities, I was kind of like, no, this makes sense. I was like, I don't think she's terrible to play. Well, you know, can I sneak in? Can I get a little sneaky Drake kill?
Moving on 4 limbs was so...
This is absolutely not. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. Get me out of the baby cage. Oh, no. Well, hopefully my... Well, they didn't... Did they get the Drake? They didn't get the Drake, I don't think. Did they? No, this was the first one, right? Yeah, they didn't get it. So maybe we... Can we stall them long enough? Why most early Briar builds were more bruiser than glass cannon. Yeah, I go very glass cannon with Briar. And I know it's maybe... It's, like I said, it's because I maybe play a little too dangerous, but it's just because it's a fun way for me to play. I just enjoy the play style. Okay. I'm kind of flubbing these matches a little bit. Apologize, team.
An enemy is
Come and get some. I love this song. I think it's such a it's a vibe. It's a vibe. We do be vibing. We do be schvibing though. Gotta check who's backing you up. Invading early and getting dragons is a team objective. Yeah. I just like, sometimes like I'll go in and try to do it myself. Like if I see that everybody is occupied, then I think it's good if I'm like leveled well enough to go in and take the dragon on my own. Like I know, like I've done it a few times where I know Briar can solo, but like can solo. Let me solo her. Ah! Bad. I'm doing bad. These are bad. It's all bad. Pause to check its threats. Thank you very much. Oh, she's a good solo for dragon. Just gotta know where the opposing jungler is. Yeah, that's my problem. That's my problem. That's like really what I need to work on the most. I think with League is like my situational awareness, because I'll like bounce around the map and stuff like a little bit like this here and there. Why there's so many of you right here? But it's not. My awareness is not as good as it should be. They got the Rift Herald again, dang. This song slays, especially because the inspo is from an Irish SAS and Satirus. Go.
Your turret has been destroyed.
There is just something so funny about what is that red line? Is that whose ult is that? What does that do?
I don't lose control.
Scary.
Free myself.
Oh, I was fully gonna say something and have no idea what it was anymore. It's gone. It do be gone. Enemy turret destroyed. Nice. Oh, I'm not quite close enough. It's okay. They got this. Take them out. Maybe I head over there and see if I can help grab some towers real quick.
My stomach's louder than my mouth.
How we doing over here? How we doing over here? Nice. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere. Hello? I've entered the bad place once more. Okay, well I also have way too much gold. I have so much gold. Awful. Terrible.
An enemy is legendary.
There we go.
An ally has been slain.
I also just realized Nex is probably a much higher rank than me. So we're probably getting pulled because I felt like I was doing pretty good earlier. And I feel like I'm doing pretty bad right now, to be honest. And I think it's probably because I'm playing against players that are higher ranked than me. I think there's probably some some of that strong Nex vibes that are possibly influencing who the matchups are against. Oh, bad place. Can we Okay. I'm stunned. Get him, take him out. Nice. Seems like your connection is a lot worse this game. Oh, really? It feels like it's been okay. I haven't noticed any issues, but I also haven't been watching my ping. Don't forget to get boots. I don't get boots at the build I use on Briar. I know that's probably wrong.
If sweaty animals are salty, does that mean they're
Cosmo Sheldrake. Yeah. Cosmo. Oh, I love Cosmo. Cosmo Shell. Wait, did we just go from Hosier to Cosmo Sheldrake? Because that is truly the blessed combination. That's what we're here for. Just a couple like magic forest mushroom vibe kinds of people. Some kind of music. That's a bold choice. It is indeed. It's bold is a kind word for you to choose, Peanut. I appreciate the kindness.
Here's how the nice
We got a chase? We chasing?
The crush on you.
Maybe we are not chasing. There is a lot of them. Maybe we're coming down here. How are things looking down here?
today's miss.
Maybe we're taking a tower down here instead.
Are they
Maybe that's what's happening.
or maybe marking each other's scents?
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Oh. Ah! Sent directly to hell. Yeah, I feel like I just like can't survive. I feel like I keep getting. I mean, I'm kind of putting myself in positions where I'm getting feasted upon, but it might be kind of my fault. You're on them yet, but the Crane Wives? I have not heard of the Crane Wives, but if they have a similar vibe, I will have to check them out. I've set a tab open for them, and I will check them out after stream. I'll appreciate the recommendation. I feel like, I don't know why, I can't pinpoint why, Bug, but I feel like you have exquisite music taste. That's the vibe that you give off. Full damage champs will either explode or explode others. There's no in between. Yeah. I'm just kind of getting exploded a little more. I be getting exploded.
An ally has been slain.
That's the best compliment I've ever got. Yeah, of course. I feel like your Spotify be jamming. This is kind of honestly like this playlist is a little more I think it slants more upbeat than my overall music taste, but that's kind of because I made this playlist out of my liked stuff on Spotify to I specifically wanted to add more of my high energy stuff just for gaming streams and stuff. Cause like sometimes it just feels a little weird to be logging into League and being like, all right, we're gonna have some chill vibes, like lo-fi music playing. It's kind of a strange combo. No, get back here! Oh, I fired and I missed. And I fired again and I missed. There we go. Next, nice. I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing good. Sounds like you're doing good. Ah! Get out of here. Who was that? Lux? Was that you? Ah! Oh. Oh. My deaths have to look so bad right now. What are they at? 12 deaths, yeah. Ugh. I have a song for every occasion, so if you ever need Rex, let me know. I will let you know, bud. Thank you. With MF.
Shut down.
MF. I don't know what MF is. I'm trying to see, is there somebody with those? I don't know what MF is, Peter. I'm so sorry. Oh, Bullet Lady. Okay. Your job is pretty much keep doing what you're doing. All right. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't mind like just being the one to like try and engage people and pull them away from whatever they're doing to try and Drake. To try and give a little distraction, but I just feel like my distractions are very quick right now. I'm not providing very lengthy distractions. Okay, squad assemble. All right. I've learned that, they hit me from a mile away. I'm so sorry, I gotta abandon y'all squad.
An enemy has been slain.
No! I was so close to the turret.
Legendary.
Not like this. Oh, I know what MF is. Oh, I mean... I know one thing that MF stands for, but I didn't know... I don't know what it stands for in League, I should clarify. Okay. Misfortune, yeah. Yeah, I got it now. It you know, it took me a second. We got there. We got there eventually. We'll see. I'm gonna try and hang around Baron and see if somebody gets a couple kills, then maybe we go in on Baron. There we go. Oh, or are we going on Baron now? Sure, I'm right here. We take, we win. The plan flawless. All right. Okay, Q and W max.
I don't lose control. I free myself from control.
What's going on over here? Nothing that I want to be part of.
Your turret has been destroyed.
What's happening over here? Are we engaging? Oh, that was probably a bad R. I'm trying not to lose this Briar buff or the Baron buff so hard.
Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Because you lose the Baron buff as soon as you die, right? Is that correct? That are we right about that? Oh, did they surrender? Did they surrender or did it get destroyed? Oh, I guess it got destroyed. I didn't realize they were... Okay, I didn't know we were doing that well. Okay, sure. I'll take it. You did that? Nice. Yeah, I kept seeing like you being on a rampage in that game. You were sweeping them up, Nex. That split push from Nex was too powerful. Yeah, that was pretty good. Nex be gaming out here. We take that W? Yeah. We're warming up. It's the warm-up rounds. Nex, I appreciate you hard carrying me. Thank you. Nexo is sicko mode. Indeed. Indeed. Do. 1632. I got. Wait, League went away. League, what happened? Why did my League close? It closed, but it didn't come back. What do you mean? God said enough? Apparently. I think I did more tower damage than every single other player in the game combined. Probably. League said no. League, come back. Wait, please. The stream's not over yet. Hold on. I got a little necromancy to perform. Hold on. Okay, we're coming back. Why is OBS using like 70% of my CPU? What was that? That was a weird spike. I think I gotta start. You have to work in 6 hours. Oh my gosh, next. Yeah, please go get some rest. It was wonderful having you. I'm glad we got to play a couple rounds together. Thank you. Why is OBS using that much? Like I have some stuff going on in my OBS, but I don't have that much. I do got to start looking at upgrading eventually though. I have some components. They're not like super old. Like my computer was a pretty good computer. Like it was a pretty good PC when I first built it, but that was a little while ago. It's starting to lag behind. I need some upgrades. Need to start looking into that eventually. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like when I say like, autofill. Okay, gotcha. Like when I say like that I'm kind of having a rougher time in matches when I'm with higher ranked people, it's honestly like kind of a good thing though. I feel like because you know while I'm playing with people like in my tier and my strats are working against them, then it's like you know that feels great. But you know I don't want to like. You know you'll sort of hit a wall eventually if you don't learn like when things will work, because you know I have stuff that works most of the time in lower ranks, but I think when I start playing people that are more experienced it stops working so well. And it's good to know what I need to learn to be flexible on. Just about 2 a.m. Head to bed. Hope you all have a lovely night and best of luck in the games you ran some with. Thank you, Potato. I'll try. We'll fight. Higher tier people will punish you for being in the wrong place alone. Yeah, I'm I'm truly learning that. We gotta hold your hand and take you to draft pick one day. I did. It was so funny. I actually did play in a draft game earlier in what was it? Yeah, in draft pick. Just because in quick play. So again, for people who don't league, so each character has like a position. So there's I can go in here and show you guys. So the positions are top, which basically, like, there's the top lane, there's the mid lane, and the bottom lane, and different characters that have sort of like categories of play styles go to each of these positions. And there's also jungle, which basically, like, I'm supposed to be kind of like running around and helping people like get in and like get kills, like when they need like assists and stuff like that, and taking like the dragons and taking out like the little monster camps and stuff. That's kind of jungle job. And then support helps with the character in the bottom lane most of the time, I think, is my understanding. And so, but certain roles are more needed than others. Like, I think like top lane is a really popular category of characters for people to play. And I think the two that usually are needed the most are jungle and support. But sometimes it'll be like support and like mid lane, or support and bot lane, or something like that. And jungle won't be priority. And you have to have at least one priority role when you queue up. And so for me, I know Briar, and that's it. That's the only character I know. So I can only play if if jungle is one of the priority positions. So and it wasn't in quick play earlier, so I had to go into draft pick because it was they did want junglers in drafts. So luckily I was able to get Briar. Nobody banned her. Or you pick Ezreal, who has been every position and broken at least once item per season. Support raises the bot lane like a single mother until laning phase is over, and then the whole team is their problem. Gotcha. Okay, I didn't know that they like separate. I didn't know that they wean off of bot lane later. Support and jungle least played usually. Yeah, honestly, which really works for me because I want to learn other junglers. Like, eventually, like right now, I have the hang of Briar's abilities, but not necessarily her positioning and stuff. So I'm kind of going all in on just really learning one champ for now, and then eventually I'll branch out. But I do really like jungle. Like that's I played a little bit of top lane as set right when I first started, but I really like just running around the map like a little goblin. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys jam for a second. Also, Tycho, it's good to see you. Hello. But I'm gonna step away for just a second. I'm gonna go microwave my tea because it is ice cold, and I will be back in just a couple minutes. All right, we're back. We're back. We got some warm tea. We closed the window because it's freaking freezing today. Usually where I live is pretty consistent temperatures. Ooh. Ashton Morika. I love this song. It's so good. But yeah, like it's normally it's a very consistent temperature where I am, but today it's like it was supposed to be like a 30 or 40 degree spread. It was like not warm, but it was like okay, it was like tepid weather during the day. And then it was like and then I like checked what the weather was supposed to be at night and it was like 35 degrees. I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" That's cold. And I've had my window open the whole time and it's freezing. Don't play League, Jelly. I'm being so serious. It's not great. Salem is an outlier who should not be counted. I think it's a fun experience and I've been enjoying getting to play it with friends. I do feel like I've accidentally sort of had this ripple effect. Like amongst people I know where I've either accidentally reactivated old League neurons or like people that have been interested in League are like, well, maybe I'll give it a try now. I've like kind of accidentally like, I feel like I've been like a League sleeper agent amongst the circle of people that I know lately. Learning arc for everyone. Yeah. We learn together. We have good time. We reshape the community. We make League comfy cozy. Wait, okay, hold on. It looks like you guys were jamming. You guys were up to stuff in chat. I wanna catch up real quick. I'm interested in what you have to say. We could queue up for another game while that's happening. Okay. ADC never weans off needing support, but once it's fight time. Gotcha. Okay. Something Bard. Bard noises is just ASMR. Bard, my beloved. Tycho, I don't know if you were here for this earlier, but I was telling everybody how you were looking at my my badges here. Which is and I was like tell them how you were like, I see you've adopted a rancid playstyle. Understanding League a bit more every day. Yeah, I mean, it's truly, I think until you play, it's really hard to understand the concepts. Like, it's possible for sure, I think, but it definitely, for me at least, it feels like one of those games that's been like, the concepts for it didn't really click until I actually just kind of jumped in and started playing, and then stuff started to make more sense once I actually had the experience to sort of have something to base the knowledge on. Positions in League are weird to me because I'm not used to jungler being a position that exists at all. Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think there are some terms like, you know, of course there are you know, things like tank or AoE, you know, terms like that are like general game terms, but it feels like League has a lot of terms that are specific to League. So there is sort of a new lingo you have to learn with it. Hey, we found a match. League is fun when you're learning. Yeah, I'm having a good time learning it. And I've had a lot of people willing to help me out with it, and I've really appreciated that. If you have Twitch Prime, you can get a free monthly capsule with some champion shards, experience boost. Ooh, I don't actually know if I have Twitch Prime. I was leeching off of family members. It was on for a while. I don't know if it still works. Okay. What kind of tea? I got mint chocolate tea. Lee Sin. I think I played against the Lee Sin once and I think it went okay. I can't remember for sure. We might have an easier time now. Because I'm probably playing against people who are Probably not a lower rank than what when we had Nex waiting in. You gotta balance out the playing at your own level and playing at higher level, I think. You know, the playing people at higher level is for the learning. Playing people at your level is for the sanity.
I free myself from control.
Salem, I'm sending you something. You need to listen to Bard. All right, I'll check it out. It's because you consume so much League BL. I mean, I do see a rather I the Twitter algorithm has identified me as a set lover. They have identified that. I was perceiving your profile, you ransom freak. Yeah. It was very funny. I enjoyed that message. It was quite funny. Who taught you to play Toxic? It's truly, it just happened. That's just the Briar playstyle, baby. That's my Briar playstyle. That's oh, there's a meme. I was gonna try and reference, but I can't remember what the meme is. I hate that. Arcane watch along when? I actually haven't seen Arcane. I maybe need to watch that one of these days. Okay, so my tactic finally worked once. My jungle invasion. I think I know the terms. It's just the MOBA I'm used to did at some point have junglers, but not at any point that I've played. Ah, gotcha. Honestly, I thought jungler was like fully a League specific term. I don't know if it may be like oh, actually, there's one down here I could steal too. I forgot. I almost forgot. Don't worry, I got you. I got you, buddy. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe I should do the opposite of what I've been doing. I think like E into W like feels natural for fighting like the little mobs, but I think honestly I should be doing W like into E like once my W is on cooldown, because I think the way it like I just end up with my W getting me into too much trouble otherwise. Because sometimes it just catches me on like a random opponent that I didn't realize was nearby, and I get into trouble. Jelly, have you seen the new champ? It's so funny that like how many people I've seen that are just and then I immediately eat into my W. It's okay. We learn. It's a bad habit I've gotten. We'll break it. We'll work on breaking it. It's so funny though, seeing like how many friends, whether they play League or not, have just seen like the new champion, and it's just like points finger. That's a homosexual. Once again, E into W. Old habits die hard. Old habit of 3 days. You're so bold. I've never watched you play Briar yet. That's true, actually. I didn't realize that. In a normal game, there's gonna be. That's not what I want to do. In a normal game, there's gonna be people watching that jungle entrance, and you would have got. Yeah, I learned that playing with Nex. I learned that at higher levels, my strats are inviolable. You've mentioned that mint chocolate tea before. I really need to try some myself. It took some getting used to, because the first time I tried it, it smells a lot like chocolate, but it tastes a lot like mint. Like it's not too minty or anything. Okay, W into E. We're learning. We're growing. We're thriving. But yeah, like so the first time I had it, I was kind of disappointed because I was like, oh, this doesn't taste like chocolate. I wanted a sweet treat. But no, like now that I'm used to it, it's very good. I think you just have to like know that the aroma will will be chocolatey and delicious, but the drink will not. You have to just sort of enjoy the experience as it is. Baby grabby arms at Salem. Mint, hello! It's good to see you. We've been having a big ASMR ASMR meetup in here tonight. Mint, we had Hollow stopped in earlier, and then Loverbug stopped in and gave us a little hello. We got somebody. Wait, who's up here? Oh, my cooldowns are so low. No, I ran right into that. Is Salem playing Unlock Cam? I am playing Unlock Cam. I got used to it. League players who have been watching this whole time, what have I messed up? Salem, the absolutely annihilating the enemy jungle with the invade.
An ally has been slain.
Need to watch ASMR. I've just been watching IRL ASMR. Okay, I think I try and hit level 6, and then we go back and buy. I'm still trying to break the bad habit of ending up with way too much gold, Tycho. Okay, W then E. We're learning, we're growing, we're thriving. I don't know. It feels strange, but I don't know. It seems correct to go W into E with Briar. I might have to confirm that with some research afterwards, but I'm just E into W is getting me into too much trouble sometimes. You better back after those chickens, or I'm gonna riot. I promise I will. Is that new carnival music? Hey, E into W. Mistake. Maybe it's okay on like my side of the jungle. I'm a very all or nothing person. I was gonna say I've realized, but I've known this about myself. Precious uncut gem. Okay, we're backing. We're buying. I need to make ASMR. Finally got a thumbnail base made, but like scripts, they suck. Trying to write something comprehensible for 20 minutes of reading is hard. Yeah. Scripts can be hard sometimes. I always recommend to people like that are first getting into like ASMR, or even if they've been in doing ASMR for a while or something, and they like complain, like they mention script writing being like their least favorite part of the process. I don't know if I prefer the writing part or the editing part. I don't know which one is more of my beloathed. But I don't know.
When people talk about their first language,
Hold on. What am I trying to say? Oh, ally slain. I was gonna go after. Yeah. Let's go after the Herald. We got him. We got this. But yeah, like I started deciding to go with there was a point where pretty much most of the audios I was making were based off of scripts that I found on Reddit, and that truly just made like such a huge difference. There was just like a time where like sometimes I really think with most like hobbies or I don't know, ASMR is kind of in a weird point for me where it's like it's very much a hobby and something I really enjoy doing, but it is also kind of a like job or what I would like to be like, you know, what I do as my whole thing. Can we get this guy? No, because I don't have boots. Maybe we can. Get me out of here. I thought we were gonna take him down faster than that. Oh, no. 2 of them? No! Get away from me. No! Ah, that was loud. I'm so sorry. What do you use to edit audio? I just use Audacity. So I use I don't know if I finished my prior thought. I'm so sorry. So I was, so what I was trying to say before, was that I really recommend using like Reddit, some of the script writing forums on there, because like people like just post scripts that are like, hey, if you want to use this, here's a script for you. And truly just like having a script that I could find that like worked with my style without like having to stress over that part, and then like being able to sort of, you know, make it my own and stuff. Just being able to cut one part of the process out was just, it was just such a huge, like, important thing for me at one point. Where it really allowed me to keep creating and keep making stuff and doing stuff for people, but
Why can't I eat through my
it didn't. What, you taking pot shots at me over here? I'm trying to get this Herald place somewhere. ASMR Script Guild Discord. Oh, I didn't know there was a Discord. But for my audio editing, I use Reaper. I used Audacity at one point, and I think anybody can really use Audacity, and I don't know what the timer is on this, so I'm just gonna go put it somewhere. It just needs to go somewhere. The timer on the Herald has expired on me before, and it makes me nervous. I don't know how long it lasts. But I think... Okay, so since they just took the Drake, I'm hoping there's nobody over here.
not polite to nibble on friends.
Try and clear this out real quick.
Of course, mouths water because they're flying for food.
And we take. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm real focused right now. Give me just a second. I'm just really trying to take this tower down. Okay. Nice. Less nice. There we go. Hey, we took the tower. I'll take it. I gotta go back and spend my gold. Okay. Place your wards, I swear to God. I'm so sorry. Tycho, I know. I'm sorry. I'll be more careful. Okay. Where are we going now? Actually, let's go get the buff real quick. But yeah, I really like Reaper. The only reason that I decided to move to Reaper was because with some of like the soundscape stuff that I was doing with my audios, it just, we got something going on over here. Bleed damage, please. Get him. Yes. But yeah, so Reaper, the issue I was having with Audacity is that Audacity uses it's what's called destructive editing, which means that once you make a change to your audio file, like that's it, it's permanent. Whereas with Reaper, the okay, there we go. Sorry. The audio editing style that Reaper uses is non-destructive, which means once you make an edit on any of your audio files, you can still bring it back. Like the edits are basically done as like overlays. Okay, I tried. Yeah, the edits to any audio track that you put in Reaper are how would you explain it? It's sort of like a filter or something in Photoshop where you can turn it on and off. And if you edit out a part of an audio track, you can bring it back. Or if you have like multiple effects on it, you can turn an effect off or on as you want. It's like listed as something that's overlaid over the audio rather than as something that's just done to it permanently by which is really helpful for doing more complex like soundscapes. Stream, pay attention to me. I got you. I got you. Edits are separate from the original file, so the original audio is preserved. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say. So my you know, my multitasking skills really come into haunt me during my League arc.
Food doesn't have to be blood? Huh.
Enemy
Broke, non-destructive editing won't control the. No, that's not the same.
double kill.
Destructive editing truly be living on the edge. Trying to edit anything in like Audacity now is scary to me. But yeah, like I think like especially like if you're just planning on like doing audios that are just a few tracks rather than ooh, we got a nice unwatched tower over here.
Moving on four limbs was so much easier.
All right.
An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your turret has been destroyed. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Sorry, I'm big focus mode right now. Oh, I didn't charge up my E all the way. Okay. Nice tower. They're in your base. Writes this down next time I grab. Oh, yeah, I do need to. That's what I was just talking about earlier. Is my like, I do get a little too in the zone on certain stuff. I need to be better about actually like checking my map and because the last game, we actually ended up winning, and I was like, I fully did not even know that we had taken down like any inhibitors yet or anything.
Too much control or not enough?
This isn't bots. Nope. This is online play, baby. All right. Go team. There we go. Slaps you upside the head, map awareness. Yeah, I know. What do we do? Was there somebody over here? I have no map awareness, so I didn't see them. Oh, we're going after the Drake. Okay, sure, we could do that. Ah, so go, please. You guys don't need me. You don't need me. You got this. Oh, I wasted that. All right, get him. Take him down. What happened? What happened there? It was going so well, and then it all just fell apart. Mm-hmm. You are not in your flop era, Tycho. You're doing great. You're doing wonderful. Okay, bye, because this is too much gold.
Your inhibitor has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
Get out of here. This is gonna go poorly. Please take him out, guys. Ah, you got this. You got this. You got this. You're so big. You're so. You got this play. Come on, guys, please. There we go. There we go. All right. We're good. We're fine. We could come back from this.
Killing spree.
Everyone else does.
Oh, I need to go. Okay, so we have that. There we go. Stop. Don't do this to me. What over here? Maybe we can't come back from this. That was the wrong button. So this one might be this one maybe not going as hot as I had previously thought. I thought we were doing good. Maybe less good now. Stop, you can't be here. Lisa in. You can't be here. I called my mom and she told me you can't be here. She said you couldn't stay the night. You have to leave. I'm downloading the game, but only because I love it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm coming for you, Lee Sin. We didn't get him. We didn't get him. Ah! Okay, yeah, actually, time to go back. All right, squad, let's go, lesbians.
Nature's more out of control than I am.
Let's go, lesbians, let's go.
Been destroyed.
Get him out of here. Well, I'll be out of commission for a while, team, so good luck. That's all I got for you. Unfortunately. It was a request that I was helpless. Thank you very much. I love you. To be fair, looking at the movement, most people are new. Yeah, probably. I'm not. I'm still very new. League is probably pairing me with other new people. Oh, stretch imposter check. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, we're doing our best. We're still dying, but we're doing our best. Oh, there goes the second one. For sure they all are. I'm too ancient and jaded. It boggles my mind to know I also played like this when I started. Yeah. I think this might be GG, fam. Sad champ. Last stream, yeah, I think that would be too hard since you're playing League of Legends. You back at it? I think you might. No, what? No problem. No, I'm just like I said earlier. I just not responding. Okay, there we go. Like I said, I'm having a good time having a game that I could play online with friends, and I want to be better at it, so I could support them more. So I'm not the weakest link, because that was kind of the joke when I was playing with a few other people. I was like, hey, if we lose, I'm sorry. You guys did your best. We're really kind of playing a 4v5. I don't really count as a player. I can play online with friends, playing alone for hours. Yeah, but it's training arc. I mean, I'm not saying I don't enjoy playing on my own. Like, I do just enjoy the game on its own, but I also enjoy having a game that I can play with my buddies. Thinking back to playing on a laptop trackpad. I mean, I could play on a trackball mouse, but I don't think I could do a trackpad. You guys, you're all trying your best. Gwen, just a great leader. I appreciate you. When you get good, you have to challenge me again to 1v1 to prove yourself. Oh god. I'm going to be demolished. Can't say my boyfriend got me into Fortnite. Now I have like 200 hours in it. Sometimes you just find a game that scratches your brain in the right way. That's all. It really, it was the first time, 7-second mats, not bad. I'll take that queue time. When I first started, my queue times were like 5 minutes, because they were like, we need to find some other people at your level. And that's hard. That's like, and I was playing with some friends, like I was playing with, I play with like Yuki and Taiko and play with some other friends and everything. And they're like, they've been, they're very experienced. They have a lot of time in League. And then there's like me, who is like, hi, I'm new. I've been playing for 3 hours. Oh, Warwick, my beloved. But yeah, no. So like the queue time, the queue times were just they were gross when I was playing with them, because it was just like, so it was like, you have 3 people who are level 782. You have another person who is level 7. What do we do about this? What are we doing about this situation here right now? Boop. Let's go.
I mean, drink. No, share?
Truly seeing Warwick on the opponent team just like strikes the fear of God into me when I see it.
Summoner's Rift.
He's so scary. There's not necessarily like one ability or anything that he has that like is scary to me. It's just that like in general, every time I go up against him, I feel like I lose. I do be losing to all the Warwick players. Fear of God invades anyway. Well, I mean that's the thing. It's like he's so strong. I gotta starve him a little bit. Cause otherwise he's gonna get all the camps, and then he's gonna come and find me. He's gonna hunt me down. I'm gonna die. I don't want that. Whenever I watch you stream, I want to get into my real gamer arc. Well, I'm glad. I hope it's a fun time. Like I said, I know some people maybe want more ASMR streams and stuff, and you know, one day I want to be in a living situation where I can kind of just do them whenever I want. But I'm also just, you know, I'm just streaming whatever I'm having fun with at the time. I try to balance the things that people want to see with what I'm having fun with, but like I do be having the gamer brain rot for this right now. It just, like I said, it scratches an itch, a very particular itch in my brain that just is good. It's the because I really think the last one that got me was truly Hades. I think there's a few others that have gotten close, like Balatro and Death Must Die and stuff also. But because they're indie games, so they are those are sort of by nature. There is only so much time you can get out of those games before it does start to get a little repetitive, I think. Whereas, I don't know. I would say this, like an online game, I think just sort of inherently has more replayability. I think I see somebody over there. Get me out of here. So no Warwick? So no Warwick? I'm just here because I like Sam. Oh, I'm glad to have you here. I like having you around too, Mint, so I appreciate that. Hold on, sorry, I'm trying to read chat. Okay, auto attack for a second. ASMR house. Yeah. Cause like I was saying, I eventually wanted to get to a place where, you know, I have a living situation that's like more conducive to doing like ASMR streams and stuff more often. But for ASMR streams, the thing is, like, just if this helps like explain anything, the reason why I don't do them often, is because the microphones are very sensitive. Like, I'm talking like if my like not with the microphones that I use for stream, but the microphones that I use for recording will pick up like the fish tank in my kitchen from my room with the door closed. Like it's so microphones that at least some of the microphones that I prefer to use are quite sensitive, so if there's anybody around and awake and making noise, like it will come into the audio, and I don't want that for ASMR streams. And there's also sort of the issue of, you know, just like if somebody is awake and around and doesn't, you know, realize I'm streaming and starts talking about like I don't know any like more like sensitive topics or stuff that, you know, people that are not streamers that are just your family don't want a bunch of people online to hear about. That's sort of, you know, that's kind of the issue. Is just the It really has to do with the sensitivity of the microphones and the living situation. So I try to really only do ASMR streams when either people are asleep or not around. Game streams are fun. I can always watch your YouTube for ASMR stuff. Yeah. That's always there. I did want to say, since you're live, will you ever revisit the werewolf song? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I will absolutely be going and revisiting Chartreuse, I believe his name was. Yeah, I love that. I love that funky little guy. Disconnected. Okay, so that was our team? Question mark? Yes. Okay, so top lane. Wait. We're taking down the Warwick. Warwick, come back here. I'm not letting you leave with that sliver of health. There we go. Okay, get me out of here.
I'm nippy when I'm hungry.
ASMR house neighbors be like, I need to lay a complaint. My neighbors make zero noise and I'm suspicious. Yeah. I got an ad as soon as I asked that, so I don't know if you answered. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, so I will be revisiting Chartreuse for sure. I really enjoyed the video that I ended up being able to do with him. So I thought that was like, if I do say so myself, I thought that was kind of a cozy, fun concept. So okay, I'm trying to save my second smite for if somebody tries to sneak up on me. We just take care of this guy real quick. I get so nervous at that last like sliver of health with the drakes. There we go. Okay, that's a powerful mic. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's just for. Hold on, let me read chat. Get in the bushes. Streaming ASMR and your housemates start talking about their yeah. It's just you're trying to stream something in the house. Yeah, it's just like it's not that there's like normally conversations that come up about sensitive topics or anything. Okay, so we gotta get up here, I guess, because we don't have a top lane.
I can just eat.
An ally has been
Top lane Briar now, I guess.
Is not choosing a choice.
I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't imagine well, but maybe I should. Maybe we just. Maybe the play is. Oh, dang. So being here and vibing with the stream. Oh, I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that. Bye.
enemy killing spree.
This one might be a loss. Save your smite till it will kill the objective and not leave it with like 10 health for someone. Yeah. That's what I'm learning that. Because I was making that mistake a lot where I was like just trying to like get it down as fast as possible before. And I realized that was not the play because I had so many people like trying to come in and kill steal. So I appreciate you you validating that experience. Because that was certainly a problem I was running into. No! Oh. Okay. If you do more, you plan to. Oh, the God siblings. Yeah. I'll probably do more of them too. The Nox and Somnus. Yeah. I'm sure they'll probably show up again. They're I like them. They got scrunkly mischievous vibes. Get out of here.
I was made for this. Let's go again.
Ah! Oh, we're in the bad place. If there's one thing I appreciate about Salem's videos, the whole continuity, how they almost all tie together. Yeah. I honestly, you would think I would have that figured out after like 6 years of yeah, I think this one might be oh, I was so close, it barely missed. Yeah, that one wasn't gonna go so well, I don't think. Yeah, because I love the idea of, you know, stuff like a lot of the things, like I know Hollow has done some stuff that like is all kind of in sort of a canonical like universe plot and stuff. I think he has different ones. Then Redacted, of course, I think is the big one for like story, like plot type, like VA ASMR stuff. But I think like great job, Pantheon. But for me, I don't know. I just can't. I haven't decided. Like, I have stuff that sort of in my head is like loosely categorized into 3 different like quote unquote like universes, but I sort of haven't. Some of them overlap a little bit, and I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Time for me to go. Hope everyone has a great time. Happy streaming. Thank you, Bug. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, and I think this will probably be our last one for the night. Ending on a W, guaranteed, for sure. Kelpie ASMR one, big creepy, kind of liked him. Oh yeah. One of my one of the mods for my Discord actually had written that one, and he did that was a very fun one. He did a good job with that. Yeah, I mean, I've kind of decided. I think like I'm gonna slow down on like introducing new characters though, because I sort of like introduce so many, and there's like some characters that are just like essentially like one shot like comfort like characters quote unquote that are just sort of like one shot comfort like audio type OCs, that I don't really plan to revisit, but
I needed a break from this.
except for Chartreuse. Not you, Chartreuse. You're doing great.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I think I want to go around.
30 seconds.
I don't.
Hi. Is this the part where we break legs?
Stop. Okay, I understand. I made a mistake, I know. Fine, I'll just have my own jungle. Char, I know who you're talking about immediately, Curse. It's okay, Charlemagne. Charlemagne. Yeah, that's the Incubus. Indeed. They used my oh wait, have they? Oh no, JK, the monsters haven't spawned in yet. I was so worried. I was like, they used my strats against me. They didn't. Well, I guess they still might have. That's possible. It's a possibility. I was wrong. Wrong char. Oh, on Chartreuse. Oh, okay, on Chartreuse still. Gotcha. Yeah, the Incubus is Charlemagne. Chartreuse, I don't think has a like race or anything that was mentioned. He's just a little guy. He's just there for the comfort. He's not trying to be nothing but a little guy. Oh yeah, hey Han, it's good to see you. When did you start playing League? Like 3 days ago. I got into it. Some friends started playing with me, and you know, it all just sort of spiraled out of control. Cause I wanted to get into an online game that I could play with friends more and stuff, and apparently League is the sleeper agent that everybody has played at least once. So, and I love this little goblin that I be playing. So, Nix, thank you so much for the gift sub to Han. I appreciate it. Han. Hey, I hope you enjoy your Salem emotes. Jungler. Honestly, if you play jungle, you'll learn the whole game. Yeah, it's. I'm really having a good time with the jungler role. At first, I thought I was, because I admit I have a little bit of an aggressive playstyle, possibly a playstyle that is, one might say, too aggressive. But so I thought I was gonna get into to top lane because I really wanted to play Set, because, you know, gesture to all of Set. Love that himbo. But then I discovered jungle, and I really have a good time just like running around the map and getting myself in trouble. It's very fun. I really enjoy it. What about you? Do you play League? Are you a leaguer, Han? I hate that I talk like a 70-year-old grandparent. We love too aggressive playstyle. Oh, but I wanted to come steal your camps. Please let me steal your camps. Sorry to bring it back to an old topic, but I just learned about Reaper yesterday, and I hate that I just finished recording a whole album in Audacity. Oh no! It's okay. It's okay. Next time. Plus, like that gives you some time to kind of learn Reaper and stuff. You know, the nice thing about Reaper is like it does sort of have like I don't think Reaper is like what do you mean?
When people talk about their first
An enemy has been slain.
Take him out. You got this. My cooldowns.
I don't lose control. I free myself from control.
An ally has been slain.
I lived, bitch. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I went like real focus mode for a second. Okay, I'm going back. But yeah, there's a lot of like online tutorials and stuff for Reaper, which is really nice, to be honest. Like, it's very, very helpful. Okay, so we go damage first before crit. I've learned. Unfortunately, yes. Mid ADC. Gotcha.
Noxus doesn't care if you're different, just that you're strong.
Yeah, the only two I've really played so far are I've played like a couple of rounds of Set and then like 13 hours of Briar. Is Reaper free or paid? It is free for personal. I think there are stipulations like for like if you're gonna use it like professionally or to like make money or anything, like then I think they have like they have sort of an in-between license where if you're like gonna use it to make money but you're not like a company or something, you can buy a license. It's all on the honor system though, which I think is really cool. Like which for sure there are people that take advantage of that. I can't imagine otherwise, but it's very honestly, them putting it on the honor system made me want to get a license more. Like, I don't know, just something about like them having like that trust in people is kind of a cool thing to see. But so it's like it's nice that you can kind of get to play with it while it's free and stuff, and then decide if that's something you want to put like more time investment into and everything. But I'm definitely like, I still one day I want to make like a whole video that's just like devoted to like resources and how I make ASMR, what my creative process is like, what I recommend for other people, all that kinds of stuff. Just to have kind of like a big compendium of at least knowledge to start with for people. Because I do get the question a lot, sort of like of how you get started, and I think there's a lot of stuff I think there's a lot of stuff to say about like getting started and doing ASMR, that's not necessarily like anything technical. There's also stuff about like just getting used to like hearing the sound of your own voice, you know, because that's something a lot of people have to do. With ASMR, you know, like a lot of people don't like the sound of their own voice. I didn't when I started, and I think just like some not even tips, but maybe just the idea of hearing that experience from somebody. Oh, I used that before I should have. I'm already making bad habits. I started using the Reaper, but I like the simplicity of Audacity. Yeah. I get that. There's definitely there's a strong learning curve to Reaper. I think it's a simple program once you realize what you need to do. But until you realize, like, because it's sort of that issue of like they give you 1,000 tools. You have everything you could ever need to do anything. But when you're first starting, you don't know what you need. You know, that's sort of the issue. And with that, you know, it doesn't matter if you have the tools if you don't know which tools it is you need. Once you figure that out in Reaper, it's great. But until then, it can feel like there is just so much happening. I guess I can download it and see if it's something I like. Yeah.
Rampage.
Decaf, hello. How you doing? Okay, what do we? Okay, so we got the first Drake. What do we got going on over here? Little who got the? I didn't even see who got. I didn't even see who got the Herald. Glad to finally catch a stream. Pretty good. Kind of tired. Oh well, I hope you can get some rest. When you get there, when you're ready for it. Okay, that's my teammate. All right. Every time somebody walks in on screen, I don't have the... Oh, our team... Okay, our team got the Rift Herald. Good, I'm glad to hear that. Because I truly had no idea. Okay,
An ally has been
let's go back. Get me out of here. I'm in the bad place, actually. Fizz is just a little bit fed. I went up. There was a Fizz that I played against in ARAMs, and it was so bad. I got demolished. There was that Fizz knew how to play Fizz. Oh, wait just a couple seconds and get this other item. Boop. Okay. What are you doing over here?
has been slain.
No, it missed. It was worth a shot. It was worth a shot. Okay, maybe we go farm. Reaper's $60 after 60 days. That's fine. Yeah. They're pretty. I think for being like an audio editing software and stuff that's not like, you know, these big like Adobe. As far as I know, I actually don't know like much about the company behind Reaper, but as far as I know, they're not like a big company like Adobe or like Sony with or anything like that. What am I doing? Why am I already walking away? So I think like them giving you like a long trial period and then you know, having a like personal like a license to use like after that, I think is pretty generous, you know, because it's like this isn't a company that's like making their money in a bunch of different ways. Like this is, as far as I did that in the wrong direction, but sure.
Of their own. Mine's just on the outside.
I will say, even if I don't like League of Legends, the music they get is crazy good. I will admit, oh, do you mean like the Heartsteel stuff, that kind of thing? Like the stuff that they like produce outside of the game. Yeah. It is quite good, to be honest. Maybe we farm. Maybe we just farm. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's like I said, that ability gets me in trouble. Sometimes I just don't be realizing other people around, and I accidentally send myself to the bad place. Hey, we got him!
Killing's different now. Like food I can't.
Okay, this worked out. This worked out quite well, I think. Not that last one, but the other ones worked out pretty well. Wait, a thing I like to ask most folks who play League of Legends, would you recommend getting into League? Absolutely not. God, no. You got as a new League player, I think it's fun. I enjoy it. It's unless you have somebody there to explain it to you, it's not the most beginner friendly game. But oh, I should have bought. Yeah, let's go back. That item's a pretty big one. Don't listen to Salem. They're in the honeymoon phase of League. Not the honeymoon phase. You work out really well. I do not. I don't work out at all. I don't be working out. Boop. Crit build forever, baby. Yeah, I think if you have people that are willing to like show it to you and kind of walk you through like your first, like what's that show called, like the first 48, that's about like you know, like the first hours of like murder investigations and stuff. That's like, you need somebody like that, like that does like that, but for League. the first hours are just they're so vital because it's so confusing. Sorry, give me just a second. I'll check chat. These drakes get kill stolen from me all the time. Okay, get in the grass. Speaking of ASMR, while you're streaming ASMR, had you had any weird people coming and asking you strange requests? Not really. I kind of have people that come in to my streams and stuff every once in a while who will like they kind of start off you know, thinking that I'm how do I put this? I don't want to like say anything like, I don't mean this in like any insulting way towards anybody or anything, but like there's just like a certain the bad place. There's like a certain like horny femboy vibe. Like I will say that some people have, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do not have that. That is not really what I want for my streams. And some people kind of come in and I think they, you know, they see this pink bitch and they're like, all right, I know what's going on here, but they don't know what's going on here. And so usually like I give people kind of a couple free messages where they say some out of pocket stuff and I just ignore it. And I think chat usually just kind of ignores it. And then if they don't get the picture, they'll sort of then you know, then I'll say something or you know, maybe a temp ban isn't the word I'm looking for, but a temp oh, you're on my team. Okay. A temp I can't think of the right word. But you know, like a temporary, like a timeout. Thank you so much, Peanut. I was truly struggling to come up with that. But yeah, so like I said, like I'll give people usually like a couple passes or something, saying stuff out of pocket. But even that doesn't happen often, and like that's really just in a theoretical sense. Like I don't think I've ever had to like give anybody like a temporary ban or anything like that. Like, what's happening over here? Stuff that I don't like. I just flashed out of that. That's huge. Oh. They have a Briar? I didn't realize that we were... Wait, what? Oh, is this... Do they have the dude that steals other people's ultimates or something? That was a Briar thing I just got hit with, right? Oh, Silas steals ults. Gotcha. Okay, I understand. I got hit with that, and I was like, hey, wait a second. Hey, wait a second. What do you mean? Oh, we got some Binks meows. Let me let him in real quick. Okay, team, I'm sorry.
Everybody wants to kill and eat, but they're all too embarrassed to do it. I'm not.
There we go. I'm glad. Sorry, taking you into some bot games worked out. Yeah. I get what you mean. It's a common problem, folks assuming things have a lewd vibe that don't. Yeah, and I mean, like that's the thing. It's just like, you know, I get it. I understand that's kind of the femboy meta. Question mark. That's a strange meta, but it's kind of true. There really is that really is kind of a thing. Where are you, Pantheon? I see you. Try to hide in my bushes. But yeah, it's just sorry, cat noises. I was like, what is going on? So it's like I get it. It's just and everybody has always been honestly really good about like understanding, like after being in stream for a few minutes, being like kind of catching the vibe, you know? It's never been an issue. At one point, maybe it will be, but at this moment, it has not been. And I appreciate that. The femboy meta. I'm not wrong. You're gonna look at me and tell me that I'm wrong? She came down in a bubble, bro. That's my favorite. That's still like one of my favorite, like, what is that, a Vine? And I just like, I quote it to my family all the time, and they're like, we have no idea what you're talking about. And I showed it to them, and they were like, they thought it was like kind of funny, but I think it's so funny. I love it. The Wicked Witch of the East, bro. Femboy man, I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. It's true.
Your turret has been destroyed. An ally has been slain.
Get back here, Lux. No.
Ally has been slain.
No.
An enemy has been slain.
I'm getting under tower.
An enemy has been slain.
I love that Vine. He's so passionate about it. Truly. That's what I love about it. It's just the energy. Mount Drake, take. Okay, we're taking.
Way too hard about fighting. Just point the strongest soldier toward the biggest enemy.
I respect somebody who is passionate about their... What are we doing here? Ah! I made a weird choice. I made the weirdest choice of buttons to press in that moment. You guys got this. I believe in you. I'm sorry that I was kind of useless in that, in this here moment. Every second that Salem has 2 wards and no vision on the enemy is I know, I'm so sorry. Okay. Place your wards. Place your wards. I think it's just like the problem is I sort of just don't know. I don't know what the good spots to place the wards are. So I sort of feel like I'm like, I don't want to waste them. Okay, while we're running, I'm going to let... Did you want to go out, pigs? Now you're on the bed. Are we comfy? I think we're comfy. Okay. But yeah, it's just sort of my problem is like I don't I don't really know what the spots are, so I'm afraid to waste them. You know? Oh, he does want to go out. Hold on. All right. I should have stood in the bushes or something there for sure, but you know, it is what it is. We invading? We invading?
An enemy has been slain.
Placement objectives.
I might be a weapon, but now I wield myself.
Your team has destroyed turrets. Your team has destroyed an inhibitor.
Stomach's louder than my mouth.
They have to. As soon as I see misfortune there, I'm like, this grouping up is bad. This is not good. Silence was deafening the switch thinking. Yeah. my brain cells do be working overtime right now. All right, we got this. Huge. Where did you go?
An enemy has been slain.
What is this? Oh, what? I didn't even see what killed me there. Dang, I died right after getting that Baron buff. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Focus redeem activated. I'd be activating that focus redeem for myself for sure. Been quite a while since I played. Have things gotten less toxic? More toxic. Yeah, I keep chat off, so it's not I don't see any of it. It's not toxic to me because I don't know what anybody's saying. Stretch and posture check. Thank you very much, Amy. Oh yeah. Sweepy, little sweepy. I'm so pumped to just get cozy in bed after the stream. I can feel it. I'm ready. I'm ready for a nap. Out of sight, out of mind, truly. You can turn chat off. Wait, that's so useful. Yeah. I actually don't know how I did it, because at one I don't know. At one point I saw something that I think like that was not a default setting, but everybody was muted. I'll take it because that's how I would prefer it, to be honest. Anyway, so that's fine with me. Funny to listen to the transformation my friends goes through and play in League. Yeah, I mean, like I've heard that, you know, sometimes people kind of have not very nice effects of playing League. Oh, I ran right into that. The squad is assembling. No! I'm so sorry, team. We got so toxic they had to remove certain pings because people were saying, "Oh, ooh." Yeah, that's why I'm glad it's just everything is just off for me. If people be spamming the pings and stuff too much, I just mute them. That's all. How are things? Ooh, things are looking good up here. Maybe we try and get all of 3.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Oh, we're just going for we do just be winning now, huh? Hey, ending on a win. That feels like the enjoyable way to play League. Yeah, it really kind of is, to be honest. I'm like, I don't know what the experience of playing League is like when you don't have chat on, or when you do have chat on, and I don't need to know. I don't want to know. We are all good as we are, right here. Don't do it. Yeah, I have no plans for that. Well, huh? What is this? Congratulations, Salamander Amigo. I logged on the other day to a message from Nex on here calling me, what was it? Salad Fingers Aioli. I was like, what do you mean? You can't just call somebody Salad Fingers Aioli. Sometimes you get really nice people and coordinate. Mostly it's toxic yelling. Gotcha. Let the fate of those who came before act as... that is truly, Decaf, let the fate of those who came before act as a warning. Absolutely. Mastery 5, Mastery 5 with Briar. Love it. Okay. It's a good combo, though. You can dip it in the aioli and crush. No! Not the salad fingers aioli combo. Prove your mastery. Acquire a mastery 6. Oh, okay. So now it's going to take me a while to get this. Acquire a mastery 6 token by ranking S minus? I don't know why I couldn't figure out how to say that. Or higher with Briar. Combine 2 of them in the Hex Tech Crafter to unlock mastery level 6. Okay. All right. I think once I get once we start getting once we get like an S, once we start getting like S ranks with Briar, then maybe we move on and start trying other champions and stuff. But I don't know. I don't mind being a one-trick pony with Briar, but because she does have a very fun playstyle. She has a playstyle that very much fits me, for better or for worse. That could truly be a bad thing. That might not be good. Her playstyle is enabling me to do moves that I should not be doing. Now you need to get good grades to rank up. Yeah. I think the highest grade I've gotten on Briar, I got an A once. I got an A minus once or twice, I think. Ooh, my damage was low this time around. All right, so I think that's going to be all the league that we need for tonight. I think I think that's, we don't, and need is a strong word. The nickname lore just keeps expanding. It's crazy. It is very funny though. Like, it's the Benedict, what is it? The Benedict Cumberbatch effect. All right, but I'm gonna go ahead and switch over back to my main screen. So I will see you guys there. Oh, all right. Hello. We've moved. Let's give me a second. Okay. The tunes pause. Tunes banished. Oh, I almost got banished too. All right. Here we go. There we go. Posture check and stretch. Nix, thank you very much. Bandersnatch Cumberbund, yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, but just taking any couple syllable S word and then like a short A word and just combining them into something that's just so distantly related to SalemAudio is my favorite. It's a very funny joke. It's a good one. So many Salems. That's what I have all these names for. That's it. That's my all those astral Salems. One of them. So this real one, the real me, SalemAudio. Astral Salem number 2, Salamander Amigo. Astral Salem number 3, Salad Fingers Aioli. It's just like the more steps away from reality you get, the further away the names get from SalemAudio. It's pretty good. Stealing Salem. Oh my god, yeah. I forgot about Stealing Salem. It's been a while. It's been a little while since Stealing Salem. Oh my gosh, I just go to Twitch to see like who we're gonna raid and everything. And I look at the list and it's just like so much lethal company. People be enjoying this game, huh? Alright. Ooh, okay. So we had our league stream arc. I think now we're gonna be in our healing arc. We're in our league recovery arc. we're not really in a League recovery arc, but I have some League aftercare for you guys for our raid today. So let's get set for that. We are gonna start finishing up here. So thank you all so much for joining me. It's always wonderful to get to see all of you. I got to see a lot of names that I haven't seen in a little while tonight. So that was really nice. I was very happy to see everybody. So we are going to go pass on some of those fun hangout vibes to a friend. We're gonna do a good old comfy raid. So here is the raid message for you guys. If you are subscribed already, you already have the Salem Sparkle emotes. If you are not, you can use 80 channel points in the channel point redemption to choose an emote to unlock, and you can get the Salem Sparkle emote all for your own. If you join us on the raid, you do get some extra channel points for tarot redeems, for ASMR redeems. So you know, a little fair trade, you know. And I think most of you guys will enjoy where we're going. Some of you know this funky little wear line already. Thanks for stream. Of course, thank you guys for stopping by. It's wonderful having ya. Next week, there may be more League. I make no promises. We're just doing what we're having a good time with. That's all. Everyone have a lovely time. So yeah. Good night, Peanut. Yeah, if you guys are headed to bed or anything, please by all means don't feel any necessary to join in. But if you can join in the raid with us, would love to have you. All right. So we're going to get that all set up. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I hope you guys have a good start to your next week. It was wonderful to get to see all of you. I will be back on Tuesday. I will see you then. I will go sneak yourself. I will do my best. Yeah. I'm going to go get a snack, and then I'm going to get cozy in bed, and I'm going to sleep. So I will see you all later. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you guys sticking around even during Gamer Witch Arc and everything. Good to have you all with us tonight. Thank you so much. I will see you later. Oh, and for those of you who are new, if you would like to check out my YouTube with my ASMR stuff and everything we've been talking about, you can find all of that here. All right. So I will see you all later. Have a good time zone. Goodbye. Goodbye. Gooby. Goodbye. Mwah.